Welcome back to another Wired for Wellness live stream. I'm Dr. Karen Curitin. I am one of the co founders of Wired for Wellness. And I also am part of the business that created the Applied Memory Consolidation Practitioner Training Program. Although Patty is here with us too, and she is our master trainer in that program. We are here with Lauren today, who is one of our Wired for Wellness clients. Actually, she was one of our Wired for Wellness clients. And she is now in the practitioner training program because she health through the Wired for Wellness program and is now becoming a practitioner to help other people in the same way. So welcome, Lauren. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yay.
Yes,
Awesome.
we're so
Well,
excited to have you here, Lauren.
yes. We're really excited for you to share your story because it is a really powerful and profound transformation that you have had. And I know it's going to inspire people out there. It's actually probably going to blow some minds today. So I'm excited to see what other people think when they hear your story. So let's dive in and talk a little bit about what happened for you. Um, so when you found us, when you found Wired for Wellness and you were just joining the program, what kinds of things brought you to us? What kinds of things were going on for you symptomatically? Especially let's talk mental emotional first, and then we can talk about your physical symptoms.
Okay. So, mentally and emotionally, I was actually encouraged to come to you guys. I was not doing so well. I was struggling with seizures. I have had seizures or epilepsy. I was diagnosed with epilepsy 11 years ago. It does not run in my family, and it really bothered me. Every seizure I had ever had, I thought about it a lot. There were specific seizures that particularly bothered me, and I would recall them a lot. And I would say that I had a high anxiety about these seizures, a lot of stress related to it. So my emotional state was not good. So I came to you guys as a client originally seeking help, and I didn't really know what I was getting myself into when I came here. What I ended up finding was a big surprise.
Awesome. So it sounds like you came very anxious. You came with some trauma, maybe from those prior seizure events and the diagnosis and all of that. And also, it sounds like a lot of worry. Like there was a lot of rumination going on when you first came to us. Is
Yeah,
that accurate?
that is an accurate description. Yes.
Okay. So, how about physical symptoms?
Physical symptoms, so I would get tingling in my feet and my hands a lot. Pre-seizure symptoms would be that I wouldn't be able to speak, so I would have to take medication. So that would make this. I'm just going to do it for you. It's like I wouldn't be able to talk, and then I would have to take a medication called Nasolam, which would prevent a seizure. And whenever that happened, I would really freak out. So this would happen like once a month up until like December when I joined you guys as a client. And it was not fun. And I was a real big stress case. What's actually funny is I would consider myself as having health anxiety, but not stress or anxiety. And what I learned in the program was that I actually had a lot of stress and anxiety in general related to just like going way back in my life. Right. So I learned a lot about myself in this program beyond just the seizures. But yes, I learned a lot about myself as well.
Beautiful.
So, these issues, Lauren, that you were dealing with around the anxiety, the seizures, the fear of having the seizures, like your everyday life, like when you were trying to live with that, what was that like?
I couldn't. So if I had a symptom come up, so say I did the mouth thing, or I had tingling or sensation or any sort of sensation that would appear in my body, I stopped in the middle of the conversation I was having and I would just start ruminating, like, oh my God, worst case scenario, something bad is about to happen. I couldn't engage in daily conversations. My life was not a full life. I didn't think that anybody would really love a sick person. I really actually believed that. So my beliefs were really different than they are today. So I had to really update those beliefs in this program. I got the opportunity to do that. And it was a really bad time for me back then. Yeah, the way I thought about my life was really bad. I thought I would never be able to have children because I was on medications. I've been able to reduce those medications since then. My seizure medications, I'm on seizure medication still, but able to reduce them. And it was really rough.
Yeah.
It
It sounds
definitely
like,
sounds like it.
yeah, like your life was small.
Yeah, very small, very limited. And I wanted
Mhm.
to isolate a lot.
Which is
Right.
a really common story for people who join the program. Pretty much anybody who has any kind of health issue that's been going on a long time, almost universally, they come in with some trauma around it. They come in with a lot of fear and anxiety around it and belief systems like you had, belief systems of worst case for their future, right? And unfortunately, as you learned, that also creates a feedback loop with the physical issue, right? And tends to make the anxiety worse, but also symptoms, physical symptoms too, right?
Yes, exactly.
So it sounds like you've already told us that the worst of this was for about 11 years of your life, but you realized, oh, I had anxiety actually well before that. I just didn't realize that. As you went through the program and you realized, "Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff actually that I could heal now that I have the tools and I can see it." What resolved for you? What transformed for you?
So there was a lot of so I learned so much in this program. I learned about triggers, I learned about memories, I learned about belief systems. I learned a number of things. And so I learned a lot about the triggers in my family and the things that happened a long time ago that likely perpetuated my illnesses. But I was able to resolve a lot of that. And that happened doing a lot of work with Patty, but also doing a lot of the work as a client. I was able to learn all these tool sets and just apply them and resolve these like big heavy issues I had been carrying for years where particularly my family
Mhm.
and things that had occurred to me at a younger age. And I like the parts were there's these things that people are going to learn in this program should they choose to join this program. It's parts work, tapping, havening, dancing, journaling, all these fun things we get to do here. I started employing them in my life and I realized I was so stressed out. I had so much anxiety. I was constantly triggered by people and family and things. And by utilizing all these tools and these interrupt processes, I was able to heal all of these these parts of me that were just like on edge all the time, particularly my relationship with my father. I did this one session with Patty about him where I just was so triggered by him. And it's like now it's like I just accept him as who he is, and it's almost as if, like, I was never ever bothered by him, like, this had never ever occurred. This,
Mhm.
like, trigger would n I it's like that whole memory and all that past was never there. So, it's remarkable what you guys teach us and what these tools do. It's something I would have never known existed had I not joined this program as a client. And I know I'm kind of babbling here, and I don't know if this makes sense to people watching, but it has dramatically shifted my life. So that
Yeah.
That's what I have to say about that.
That's a fantastic rundown of all the different things that it's done for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just out of curiosity's sake, Lauren, so all of this stuff that you were dealing with that you've been able to kind of work through and largely resolve, right? Through using Wired for Wellness and having some one-on-one support, what were some of the other things you tried before this
Oh,
that weren't so successful?
uh, I am a trier. Well, I did do talk therapy with a therapist for about 12 years, and it has its benefits. I will say that. I mean, it definitely has its benefits, but it was not able to resolve trauma in one session. Did with my seizures with Patty in one day. That was remarkable. It went from a 10 to a 0, and I no longer had fear of any seizure ever happening again. Actually no longer think I no longer fear that I am ill. I do not think I am ill. And that happened in one day. And that is why I have chosen to enroll in AMR, applied memory reconsolidation, to become an advanced practitioner, because I believe so strongly that this is the best way of healing. That one day healed me. But so I just can't say anything more strongly than that. But in addition to, I did more sessions with her, right? I did 4 more sessions with her. My second session with her was about my father, and I realized I didn't wanna have any triggers and be so affected, and again, like, it worked so strongly that I really am no longer affected. My 3rd session was about finding true love. I am now, like, I would and it was just this remarkable session where I was able to envision, feel, sense what it would be like, and it was unlike any other person. It was as if the past I was dating the same guy with the same face and over again, and this was someone completely different, and I saw it and I felt it, and it's using these techniques this in this program. And I was fine, and we learned more techniques in AMR than we have the client lens, and then we have the AMR lens, and you learn more as a practitioner. Using all of them combined is actually just really powerful. So I have just been using them all, and I've been able to let go of people that have been holding me back, and things I couldn't do before because I felt like it was not kind of me. And now I feel empowered to be like, Lauren, stand up for yourself. Let's just let them go. And it's because of this program. So things I couldn't do, now I can do. Um, so that's just another example.
Yeah.
Yay!
Sounds like your life's gotten a whole lot bigger.
It is. It is getting a whole lot bigger.
Nice. Yeah.
Amazing. Truly amazing. We're getting so many comments right now of people being like, "Wow, that's incredible." And it is. It definitely is. I'm so glad you're sharing your story for that reason, because many people have no concept that you can change something in one session or one day, right? Something so big that's been like ruling your life for 11 years. So just, oh, bye-bye. Poof. So aside from the amazing one-on-one sessions, which they are amazing, what do you think were the most helpful parts of like the programmatic aspect that you got in Wire for Wellness? Like, what do you think was most helpful that made a difference to your sort of self practice?
My self practice. So I learned about my subconscious a lot. I learned about my subconscious and my conscious mind. And I learned that my conscious mind was so small and my subconscious mind was so large. And it was my subconscious mind was just ruling my life. And that it needed to be interrupted constantly and changed constantly. And as a result, I was able to use all these tools that you guys give us. Again, I'm just going to be referring to these tools over and over again because they are so effective. And the dancing, I love the dancing. I am rather kinesthetic. I feel
Mhm.
things. The tapping, I use a lot of the tapping to get into my body and interrupt things that were upsetting me. Journaling when I was angry and journaling in a productive way rather than yelling, doing things that you guys taught me to do in a really productive way really helped me move forward and out of the way that my subconscious was just running me. And that's how I really started to get well. Um, I healed so fast from December, I would say, through I don't know really what month, but realized that I was not gonna I wasn't ill. I realized I didn't have epilepsy really fast. Like
Mhm.
that it was just something that happened and I can't explain it because it seems to the logical mind it doesn't make sense. But to me it makes sense. I just realized I was healed and that I wasn't ill and that like I'm just going to use this. I've told you guys the story already, but I went to a doctor. I fell on my hand. I write a lot, and the doctor said, "You for sure have carpal tunnel. You're going to have carpal tunnel surgery." And I said, "Okay." So I got the little wristbands, and I was like, I wore them for a couple of weeks, and then I came to you guys, and you taught me all these things, and then I took the little wristbands off, and I said, "No, I don't. This isn't real." And I would just kind of smack my hand in the middle of the night and say, "This isn't real," and it disappeared. So I just refuse to believe that I am ill because I'm not. Like, I am absolutely not ill. I am completely and totally 100% fine. I've gone from feeling sick for 11 years to feeling absolutely wonderful in about, I would say, 4 months, which is pretty fast. And this is what heals me. And
Wow. So fantastic, Lauren.
And that is why I am becoming an applied memory consolidation advanced practitioner because I'm currently in functional medicine as a coach, but I
Yep.
know that this is what more strongly heals. It has healed me.
So how are you looking forward to using what you've learned with your functional health practitioner? How are you looking forward to using this with your clients?
Um, for those that see the benefit of it, which I hope I'll do, because I don't see how you cannot, to be honest. I hope to apply like functional nutrition. It makes perfect sense, right? Like eat well and finding root causes of illness, but also not hyper focusing on illness. To me, hyper focusing on illness creates more illness. What we want to do is just focus on what you want to create in your life, and that's what I learned here is like focus on that man you want and that thing you want to create in your life, all those beautiful things. Don't see the medicine by your bed anymore. Like take that away because that's not what we want. It's all those other beautiful things that we're creating. And that's what I've learned here. And I've learned it so fast, it's ridiculous. And I'm learning all these other wonderful tools that it's just like this thing called borrowing that I was talking about with Patty. And I used that the other day in order to make my ex boyfriend go away. Just stop contacting.
That's some outside the box use of memory consolidation. I love that.
um, stop contacting me.
That's hysterical. I love it so much.
No, but I'm finding very useful ways of using all of these tools to empower me to become the person and have the life that I want. And another aspect of all of this is that it's fun. No
Mm.
aspect of this is so serious. Like if it's a serious topic, but we use a lot of fun techniques in order so that it's light, so that it feels lighthearted, so that nothing, even if it's a trauma, that the trauma doesn't feel so hard and difficult to handle that we like we'll put riddles on it and like, and Patty will throw a sheep on it, and um, it will just make it better. And I've never seen anything like it, so that it's not only effective and done so fast, but also so fun.
Yes. I agree. I was blown away by the same thing when I found this. I was like, "What? Healing does not have to be me crying my eyes out for 2 hours at a time and then just going home eating ice cream? Oh, that is great. I'll sign up for the alternative."
Well, that's the great part of it, right? That actually the best, fastest, most effective, most painless way to heal and recover from this stuff is to stop taking everything so seriously and be able to find some lightness and the lighter side of life, right?
Mhm.
Being able to refocus in that direction.
Mhm.
So it's sort of that aspect of why this is so impactful and so effective is kind of it's a huge part of it. Yeah, so
Mhm.
it's fun to be on the receiving end of the work, and it's fun to facilitate the work. Yeah.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah. So aside from the amazing health you've already created, the career you're on your way to creating, and maybe the new love of your life, is there anything else you're working on creating now that you've shifted to that mindset?
You've kind of nailed all the like the main things I want to create, but I do want to make sure that I get off all my medications. And I do, and I've really always wanted a child. And so
Mhm.
I think those go hand in hand. And
Mhm.
I think I've had that belief that I couldn't have a child for so long ingrained inside of me, that all of this stuff is making it possible so that I can. And from the age of 30, I thought there's no way, because I'm on all these serious seizure medications, and I'm just doomed. And so now I'm just like, okay, wow, this is a total turn of events, and let's make this happen.
I love it.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to see that happen. 100% believe that you were gonna make it happen, just as you made your healing happen in 4 months. That's that's incredible.
It really is. You're an inspiration, Lauren.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that.
You
Mhm.
totally are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you have anything else you'd wanna share with us? Like, just in terms of your experience either in Wired for Wellness or in the AMR program? Like, you've done a beautiful, eloquent job of sharing your experience with us here tonight, but is there anything else that's coming to mind that we haven't already talked about?
Um, I could talk forever. I just think that you guys have created such a great program. I mean, that's what I would really have to say, is that it is so well done. I have never seen a program so just well organized, from Wired for Wellness to the AMR program, for clients to people who want to become professionals in this. Either way you go, you're going to win and you're going to get well. So I would say that from both aspects, this has been a win win situation for me. And I know it will be a win win situation for anyone who does it. I, Even if it takes longer for other people, it was just fast for me specifically. Everyone has a different journey and different struggles to get past. This is just my story. I had the seizures, I had migraines for a while, got past those somehow. But this works. It really does. And it's the best thing I've seen. And it's fun. So, and there's like these great group of women who have created it. So I just can't say anything better about it. What else can I say about my experience? I would say that the people in AMR are really determined to help others. So if you join this program, you're obviously a person who wants to help others, and I think that's I think that's pretty remarkable. Not only will you help yourself in the process, but you're going to be helping other people as well. So this is a that's a fantastic thing to do in life.
We're all sort of on a mission here together to try and make the world a better place, right? One person at a time. Yep,
Exactly.
Mhm.
that's what we're after. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much
All
for
right.
joining us, Lauren. We really
Of
appreciate you sharing your story and inspiring everyone today. So, thank you. Thank you.
course.
It was amazing. You're amazing. So, we wish you well on the rest of your training journey. Obviously, we're going to see you in there. But for now, we're going to let you go and answer some of the questions that came up while you were talking. We've got some really good ones. People are really curious how you did what you did. And so, we're going to address that next.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Take
Okay,
care.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. How was that? Think of her story. We'd love to hear your comments. And I'm sure, as I said, it was mind blowing. For me, when I started seeing cases like that, well, my case was like that, I guess, but more and more as I became a practitioner and started working with other people, seeing those transformations happen so fast, it was mind blowing. I think, Patty, you feel the same.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been doing this for a number of years now, and I've worked with a lot of people pretty much on a daily basis. I'm still continuing to have my mind blown. I mean, I know how it works. I understand it. I live, eat, and breathe this stuff. I had the experience myself, and yet every day I'm pleasantly gobsmacked by what happens with the people that choose to go down this road and sort of learn the mechanics of how their brain works and how their mind and their bodies intersect, and how they are way more powerful than what they maybe have been led to believe. Yeah, and Lauren's such a great poster child for this.
Yeah. I think one of the things that made Lauren successful is she came into it, even though she knew almost nothing about it, she was willing to have an open mind. She was willing to consider a model that she had never been exposed to before that was outside her realm of normal, like functional medicine or conventional medicine, right? That's where it starts. And we see that the people who come into it with that mindset of, I'm just going to see if this works, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, they get huge results and pretty quickly. Do you want to tell them about the story you had just this week from another client?
Yeah, absolutely. Just today, actually. Yes, um, I've started about, I guess it was about 5 weeks ago, I started doing some one-on-one sessions with a someone that's local to me that lives in my local area, so I'm lucky enough to be able to do some of this work with people in the same physical space. And this gentleman had been experiencing severe, like profound levels of back pain for a number of years, to the point where his quality of life had really deteriorated. He was not able to sleep at all, constant severe anxiety around the pain, not very functional at all. He was a long distance runner and really physically active, and he'd been everywhere and done everything, right? He'd seen all the physical medicine practitioners, the rehab folks, like you name it, he tried it, and nothing it was shifting his experience. So he was really desperate, right? He was at the end of his rope. And anyway, long story short, we had 2 sessions together prior to the one we had today, in which I kind of taught him the basics of how this works. So he learned a new sort of understanding of what was another way of looking at his experience. We did a little bit of memory reconsolidation around the events, the stressful events that set this whole thing into motion, because there
Mhm.
was, there almost always are, there was
Mhm.
a sort of a straw that broke the camel's back situation, an incredibly stressful time in his life that pushed him into this experience. We rewired what his brain was doing around that, and I'm so happy to say that today he came in and he was smiling and he was kind of bouncing into the office and just totally giving off a completely different vibe, as they say, right? Just he didn't look like the same man that I'd seen the first time a couple weeks ago, and his pain is 80 to 90% resolved. He's back to being physically active again. His whole family has noticed how much calmer and more relaxed and happier he is, and he's even getting ready to start up running again. So
Wow.
3 sessions, like 2 and a half, essentially. 2 and a half sessions, right?
Wow.
And once again, though, like you were talking about, Karen, he was ready to be open to some new ideas. And
Mhm.
because he was ready and open to the idea of learning something new, he went all in on it, right? He took the recommendations in terms of pretty simple things he could do in between the times we spent together to keep moving in the right direction, and this was the outcome. And he was just as kind of gobsmacked by it as I was, right? We were both kinda like, "Wow, wow," right? Anyway, and
You
now
can't
he's
you
running
really
around
can't
telling
beat that.
everybody. His family's all noticing, "Well, what's going on here? Like, who is this person? What did you do?"
Yeah.
And, he's going around telling everyone, so the word is spreading. And he's a well-known guy, so enough people saw him suffer for a really long
Mhm.
time. They knew how his quality of life had been impacted.
Mhm.
So, like I say, I'm always it never gets old.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know
I
how
mean,
that could
no.
getting people out of years and years of chronic pain in 5 weeks. How could that ever get old? The
Yeah,
best
and
part,
we
I think, is that you did it without drugs, you did it without supplements, you did it without changing his diet, you did it without surgery, you did it without physical therapy,
we
right?
we
Just
we talked, we chatted, we laughed. He had a few tears at moments that I didn't let him stay in, and just so you're clear, he expressed it, and then I pulled him out of it. It was so fast. Right? It was
Mhm.
so fast after so much profound suffering for so long.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just like I say, it never gets old to be witness to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't wait to have him on one of these lives so he can share his story from his perspective. It's gonna be really cool,
Yeah.
especially for all you guys out there who have chronic pain as part of your story.
Mm.
We know that a lot of you do because we ask you when you join the Facebook group. So we hope that that gives you a story to consider having a more open mind around what the path could look like to resolving your chronic pain, and that it could be short and it could be fun. It could involve laughter and maybe none of those other things that people originally told you you might have to do to resolve your pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Pretty
for anybody who was like, whoa, these stories made me want to take some action, if you want to if you want to send a text, we're going to put a phone number in the chat here that you can send a text to if you want to get more information about working with us. You can text WELL, to the phone number in the chat if you want to hear more about the Wired for Wellness program, which is really focused on helping people with all kinds of chronic stress based illnesses to heal. So that includes anxiety, depression, chronic pain, and a variety of other types of illnesses and symptoms that can be based in chronic stress patterning. So if you are really interested in healing yourself, text us well to that number. We'll reach out to you and we'll give you some more information. If you are like, oh my gosh, I want to become a practitioner of this and change people's lives every day like that, you can text us a number. And again, we'll reach out to you. We'll get the conversation started. We'll tell you what that looks like to become a practitioner. I think the coolest part of that is that you can become a practitioner of AMR without any prior education requirements. You can be doing something completely different in your life. You could be a engineer or a gardener, it doesn't matter. You can still learn these skills. It's not rocket science, but it is incredibly powerful and you need somebody to show you the way. That's all there is to it. And we just feel so lucky that we found all of this that we can compile together to teach you to have an amazing practice like that if you want.
and the other great thing about the AMR program, I just want to plug it a little bit,
Mhm.
that included within the AMR practitioner training, you also get full access to the Wire for Wellness program. So if you have if the idea of becoming a practitioner and being able to help people in this way is appealing to you, and what's also true is that you have a few things that you recognize you would still like to change in your own experience, you're going to get support from that on sort of every level. So it's a really great way to go if those both of those things sound like you.
Yes, awesome. I did look through the chat as you guys were commenting and asking questions, and I would say that it seems like the overwhelming theme of their questions is how did she do that? How did she resolve the anxiety? How did she resolve the guilt and the triggers and all that kind of stuff? What's the specific exercise or the specific technique? Unfortunately, we don't really work that way because the thing is that everyone's brain is a little bit different. So we know is the neuroscience that is the basis for how we make all kinds of changes in the brain, right? We call that the memory reconsolidation platform. But from that platform, you can take memory reconsolidation in a number of different directions. You can do it with really an enormous variety of techniques as long as you understand how it works. You understand the basis of it. And the cool thing is that when you learn it from either a personal or practitioner standpoint, you learn how different people's brains can be. And what works really incredibly well in an instant for one brain is not the best way for another brain, but there is another way that's amazing for that brain. So we give you this incredible cornucopia of tools that you can use to find out what is the best approach for your particular brain and your particular issue that you want to use it on. We teach you the principles on which all of that works so that you can hone it until you are a pro, either at helping yourself or helping other people or all of the above.
Yeah,
Would you say
absolutely, and
that, Patty?
absolutely, we do, we give you this is the culmination of several people's years-long journey of learning and experimentation, and so that's the thing, like Karen said, we recognize that not everyone does things the same way, right? Everyone's brain is different, so we wanted to be sure that we were offering both in terms of for Wired for Wellness and for the AMR training, that we're offering people different options, right? So they're going to have something that will work for everyone, right? And the other great thing about it is we encourage creativity, right? Learn how it works. And we're all about being creative here, right? Because this can be such a fun, creative process once you understand the principles and the basics. It's like I said, this work never boring. Never boring, always interesting, surprising, right?
Mhm.
And the vast majority of time in the best possible way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Never needs to be a boring formula. I love
No,
that about it.
no,
You can
no,
do
it's
it
never
different
boring.
every single time you sit down to work on yourself, which
Right.
for me is incredibly powerful because if I get bored with something, I won't continue doing it. And I know we've worked with a lot of clients like that too before we had the Wired for Wellness program who were trying formulaic methods and they would just fall off the bandwagon over and over again until they had enough tools and enough fun tools that they could have the motivation to keep going till they got their goal. They achieved their goal.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for joining us for another live stream. Again, if you want to comment, well, to the phone number or AMR to the phone number listed in the chat, we'd be happy to reach out and chat with you about what it looks like to work with us. But until next time, and Patty is going to be talking about how to 10x your talk therapy results, whether you are currently receiving talk therapy or you are a practitioner of talk therapy. So that should be one. We'll see you guys then.
Thanks, guys.